الحضور الكريم، أهلاً وسهلاً بكم من جديد. ثاني جلسات القطاع الخاص تؤكد على أن القادة القادرين على صياغة المستقبل وتحويله إلى واقع هم ضمان وجود المؤسسة والقدوة الحسنة في القيم والسلوكيات المؤسسية. يتحدث في هذه الجلسة المشتركة السيد مارك امبلارد الرئيس التنفيذي للمؤسسة الأوروبية لإدارة الجودة، وعطوفة الدكتور مؤيد السمان رئيس مجلس إدارة مجمع الملك حسين للأعمال. وتدير الجلسة الدكتورة سحر المصري. أدعوكم للتفضل إلى المنصة. Mr. Amblard, please join us to the panel. الدكتورة سحر المصري هي عضو فاعل في هيئة محكمي جوائز الملك عبد الله الثاني للتميز، ومقيم معتمد من الFQM بعام 2013-2010، ورئيس فريق المقيمين في جائزة أبو ظبي للأداء الحكومي المتميز. وتعمل الدكتورة سحر مساعداً للمدير العام في المستشفى التخصصي، وهي رئيس مجلس إدارة جمعية الجودة الأردنية. أهلاً وسهلاً بكم.
الله يعطيكم العافية جميعاً. هلأ بعد الغداء الواحد شوي رخرخ. بنرحب بضيوفنا السيد مارك امبلارد ودكتور مؤيد السمان في جلستنا اليوم اللي رح نحكي فيها عن القادة ودور القادة، وبنفتخر انهم معنا مثل هيك دكاتره ومثل هيك رئيس المؤسسة الأوروبية للجودة، حتى انهم يعطونا خبراتهم بما يخص تطبيق الاكسلانس بالليدرشيب وكيف بنطبقها وكيف بنستفيد منها. وان شاء الله بتكون جلستنا مفيده للجميع، وبنخرج بتوصيات لمؤتمرنا تساعد في ان تحسين وضع القاده وتحسين اداره المؤسساتنا حتى نوصل للابداع والتميز. بدي اطلب منكم في نهايه الجلسه اذا عندكم اي حدا عنده توصيه للاداره انه بما يخص جلستنا انه يكتب لنا اياها ويقدم لنا اياها عشان نقدمها لاداره جائزه الملك عبد الله الثاني للتميز، حتى نتمكن انه نساعد معهم بالتحسين المستمر لما فيه فائده بلدنا وفائده جميع المؤسسات. خلوني اقدم الدكاتره والسيد مارك اللي معنا في جلستنا اليوم، ونعطي شويه عن الليدرشيب، لمحه عن الليدرشيب، ونترك مجال لمتحدثينا يتحدثوا معنا عن محاضراتهم اليوم، وبعدين نروح للاسئله. السيد مارك بدأ حياته يعمل بشركة بيجو، حيث كان يشغل منصب في القسم الهندسي في هذه الشركة، ثم شغل منصبا بنفس الشركة في أستراليا واليابان في قسم المبيعات، وبعد ذلك انتقل للعمل في شركة رينو في مجال التخطيط للمنتجات والمركبات، والتحق بشركة ستوم للنقل في عام 2007 حيث عمل بمنصب مدير استراتيجية تسويق، ومن ثم أصبح نائبا للمدير العام في تلك الشركة. وحاليا يشغل منصب الرئيس التنفيذي للمؤسسة الأوروبية لإدارة الجودة الAFQM منذ عام 2012. يحمل السيد مارك درجة الماجستير في الهندسة الميكانيكية من جامعة أنسان في فرنسا، وشهادة الماجستير من جامعة ميشيغان في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. عطوفة الدكتور مؤيد السمان يشغل حاليا منصب رئيس مجلس إدارة لمجمع الملك حسين للأعمال، وهو أكبر مشروع عقاري في وسط العاصمة عمان ومدينة الأردن الذكية في المستقبل. كما يشغل منصب رئيس مجلس إدارة مركز الملك عبد الله الثاني لتدريب العمليات الخاصة، وهو نائب رئيس مجلس إدارة صندوق الائتمان العسكري، وأستاذ الهندسة الصناعية في الجامعة الألمانية الأردنية. وكان الدكتور مؤيد من قبل يشغل منصب رئيس مجلس إدارة ورئيس التنفيذي لمركز الملك عبد الله الثاني للتصميم والتطوير كادوة. حصل الدكتور مؤيد على درجة الدكتوراه في الهندسة الصناعية من جامعة لافبارا في عام 2000، وحصل على الدراسات العليا والدراسات الجامعية الأولى مع مرتبة الشرف في الهندسة المدنية والهندسة الصناعية من الجامعة الأردنية. اليوم جلستنا نتحدث فيها عن القيادة. زي ما بتعرفوا هي القيادة أهم شيء في حتى تحصل على excellence organization. أي organization بتكون متميزة لابد إنه يكون عندها visionary leaders اللي هم بيكونوا قدوة، اللي هم بضعوا بالتعاون مع جميع الستيك هولدرز، بضعوا الفيجن والميشن والاستراتيجيك دايركشن والتارجتس تاعت المؤسسة والجولز والفاليوز، وبكونوا هم القدوة في تطبيقها. فلا بد لأي مؤسسة بدها تتميز إنه يكون عندها فيجنري ليدرز. غير هيك هدول الليدرز لازم يكونوا قدوة في تحقيق هاي الفيجن، تحقيق الأهداف الاستراتيجية، يكونوا يعملوا انسبيريشن للبيبول الموجودين عندهم بالمؤسسة، to innovate them, to empower them حتى إنهم يقدروا يحققوا أهداف المؤسسة ويعملوا معهم. لازم تكون الديسيجنز تاعتهم كلياتها مبنيه على داتا وانفورميشن، على بيانات وعلى معلومات يقدروا يبنوا عليها الداتا ويقدروا ياخذوا قرارات في الوقت الصحيح. لابد من انهم يشاركوا جميع الانترستد بارتي والستيك هولدر، خصوصا الاكسترنال ستيك هولدرز معهم في تحقيق غاياتهم ورسالتهم ورؤيتهم. لابد كمان انهم ينشروا ثقافه التميز في المؤسسه، ولابد انهم يديروا التغيير. احنا الان بحاجه ل innovative leader وبحاجه ل transformative leaders. فخلينا الان هلا نسمع من المحاضرين اليوم ايش بدهم يقدموا لنا حتى انه نطبق الليدرشيب في مؤسساتنا. فنستدعي السيد مارك يتفضل يتحدث لنا عن الليدرشيب، الاكسلنس الليدرشيب.
Can you hear me? Yes. Happy to be in front of you today again to discuss more about one aspect of excellence, leadership. And as you indicated very clearly, leadership has been said also earlier this morning, is a critical factor throughout the journey, but first of all, starting the journey towards excellence. Without strong leadership, it doesn't start. Without strong sponsorship from the leaders, it doesn't continue. And throughout the journey, leadership is again critical. Let me say a few things first about just one slide about EFQM, just to position what we do. Mentioned this morning, the foundation has been around for 25 years this year. It's deployed in over 50 countries with a large number of organizations, whether it be public, private, small or large, industrial and service sectors, just the same way, using the same principles of excellence that, by the way, are also similar to those used in the United States or in Japan. By the way, also we work with our Japanese and you American colleagues. We meet once a year, so we share the same values, the same approaches and philosophy, by the way. Excellence also, whether it be the EFQM model or any model in excellence, have, and this is, I mean, statistics here is for the EFQM model, it's clearly recognized as bringing about a culture of continuous improvement. And this is critical for any transformation in an organization. You need to have this capacity of the people, of the processes, the leadership to transform itself, to continuously improve itself and to reject the status quo. Competitiveness is also one critical outcome of deploying excellence. Obviously, we can look at overall performance, but one of the elements of performance in the end will be competitiveness, whether it be in terms of product and services, whether it be in terms of service to customers, in terms of financial returns as well. In the end, that will lead to competitiveness, and that's one of the clear benefits that's recognized for the excellence model. Now, before I talk about leadership, it's positioned it as part of excellence. Why do we need leaders? Why do we need people to lead the organization? And what are the key challenges they need to face? If you look at the various stakeholder groups that an organization has to work with, one of them is the ones that provide finance, provide resources to the organization, the shareholders. You can call them the government in the public sector or the local administration. In the case of private sector, the shareholders that expect return on investment. Public sector, they expect proper use of taxes. In the end, it's about proper use of funds. And that's clearly one of the objectives of the leader that he has to respect. If an organization exists, it's because it has customers. Again, you can call them citizens, you can call them patients in the hospital, students in the university. But in the end, they are those for which the services are provided. And they expect proper service. They expect also that you listen to them, you understand the expectations, that you tailor the services and products for their needs, and that you provide them with evaluating service in the end. Already necessarily aligned with shareholders' expectations already. And obviously, in order to deliver those products and services, the people are key. They are the center of the organizations, regardless of what it is, its size, location, or any other criteria. And those people need to be engaged in order to provide value-adding service to the customers, in order to also listen, to improve upon themselves, upon the services and products. And these people, in order to be engaged, they need to be associated with a strategy. They need to understand where the organization is going. They need to understand where they fit, how they contribute to the strategy. They also need to have a future. They need to understand that they're being developed, that they can see where they can be a few years out. And these are also, there's also financial retribution, obviously, but above all, it's about engaging them, associating them to where the organization is going. And this is, obviously, these stakeholders are key. But they're not enough. You don't just need shareholders, customers, and the people. You also have outside stakeholders. If you want to deploy sustainable excellence, it's sustainable that is long-lasting, not just strong, a leader for 2-3 years, but something that will last. You cannot just have strong returns on investment. You cannot just have good, happy customers or engaged people. You also need to make sure that your employees for tomorrow are prepared today. So working with schools, also working with local administration, making sure that you associate them in what you do. You give a return to the local authority, to local associations, and also obviously caring for the environment. Without doing that, tomorrow's market will not be what could be at best. And the society factor, which has been an integral part of the model since 1991, is a critical element to make sure that excellence is likely to be sustainable. And you can see here, these 4 different stakeholder groups have very different expectations. However, you cannot just rely on 1, 2, or 3 of them. You need to work on all 4 of the cylinders of this engine if you're going to be sustainable. And that's the role of the leaders in the end, to address all these expectations, to work with them in a balanced way. You cannot just push return at the expense of customers. You can't push people engagement at the expense of society or environment. You need to fire up all 4 cylinders and improve upon them at the same time. And that's a critical challenge, obviously, for leadership. In order to do that, you need to inspire the people, you need to lead in terms of deploying a strategy, supporting its deployment, also finding partnership outside the circle to build it. The model was established at the beginning to really cope with all these elements. Left-hand side, the enabler is basically what you do, what the organization does, its approaches to perform. And the right-hand side, the results. What is the organization achieving? Starting with strategy, what's my strategy? What objective do I expect in terms of my business or customers? And then from that point on, go back to left-hand side, what leadership approach do you put in place? How you train your people? What are your processes and so forth to reach those objectives? And then you continuously close that loop, look at the result you obtained based on the approaches, and then go back, if you have a gap, go back to the approaches, adjust them so that next time around you can be closer to your objective and continuously do that loop of starting from strategy, the objective, the approaches, the results, and go on and on. And the leadership has a very key role to play in that. Now, we talk about leaders. Criteria, leaders, we say excellent organizations have leaders who shape the future, make it happen, acting as role models for its values, ethics, inspiring trust at all time. Shape the future, that's about being visionary, but being able to see where the future is going to look like, where the organization can fit, what role it can play in that future, but also making it happen. And it's being able to define the vision, but also being able to draw the plan, the roadmap that will get us there, and deploy that. And those 2 elements are critical in the leader. I'll come back to the other elements of ethics, value, trust, but these are obviously critical as well to deploy that. But in the end, who can do that? Who can act as a leader in the organization? I'd say leaders are those who are followed, not necessarily the ones at the top. There are people who can take, who can lead, who can bring others along with them, who can show the way at different levels of organization. Again, it doesn't have to be at the very top. It's about people who can exemplify the values of the organization, obviously fully understand the strategy, and take initiatives and embark people with them. It's looking at the improvement project, you can have people leading that project, clearly in line with the strategy, respecting the values, and then bring the organization on board. So in the end,